everyone, it's Nicole and I have another layout using the July Valley High Studio Calico kit, and this is the 10th layout using that kit, and it took me an hour and 9 minutes to complete. And I want to use that Kezi art paper that was red, and it had some words that were from the zoo on it. And then I'm going to mount it on just a plain vanilla cardstock. I didn't know how many pictures I want to use on this layout, but because of the words that were on the page, I was trying to, leave as many words as I could. So the more pictures that I would add on that page, the more that it would cover the rest of the words. So I decided to just go with the 2, and I cut them down to approximately, I would say, 5.5 inches by 4, and I cut 2 of them the same size, and then I'm going to mount them on red cardstock. And that's the leftover cardstock that I used, I believe, on the last layout or the one before, a few layouts ago, I believe. And so it was just a piece of scrap that I had laying around. Now I'm going to mount it on that October afternoon, I believe it's October afternoon pattern paper. And it's basic gray. And the reason I was moving the photo around is that I want the lines to go from the left of the layout to the bottom right, or from the top right to the bottom left. And I decided to go from the bottom or the top left to the bottom right, and you're going to see me pull it apart in a little bit because I wish I would have gone the other way. There was a couple of reasons why I did it that way. Was because the reverse side of that paper, if I would have cut it on the other direction, it would have wrecked the entire sheet of paper. So that was the main reason, because I end up doing my clusters going from right to left. Because of that word zoo, I can't go left to right. And I wish I would have thought about that one when I cut the pattern paper, but I didn't think about it. So now I'm going to go through my 4x6 paper pad that I bought this month. It coordinates with the papers really well. A lot of it is the same pattern paper, except it's shrunk down, but some of them are different. So the ones that I did choose was, it's sort of circles with little flower clusters in the middle, and we did have a pattern paper for that this month, but again, it's shrunk down, so it works much better. And then the other one is the little hearts, which we also did have this month, but I like the shrunk down version better for using as layering. And now I want to use a doily, and I'm going to have a hard time separating them. End up ripping it a little bit too, but that's okay. I'm still going to work with it. I'm going to cut it in half and put one at the top right and bottom left. And that's, 2 of the spots already predetermined for where I'm going to build my embellishment clusters. I'm just, I find up to that point, it's usually really easy, how I'm going to put everything. And then when I know it's time to start thinking about title and embellishments, then it's when it takes, a bit more time. And I'm going to use the alphas that came in this month's kit from Pebbles. And I'm going to spell the name of the zoo. And it was the Toronto Zoo in Toronto, Ontario in Canada. And I put the year that we went. And then I believe I went to bed, and then next morning I was working on it again, or in the afternoon. And this is the layout I was talking about on my last process video, where once I start gluing everything down, it kind of gets moved. You see where the pattern paper, the heart one, it ends right where zoo is. And I want to right justify it, I guess, so that the word Toronto, the O from Toronto, would end with the zoo. and it would hang over, and it doesn't end up doing that. So now I'm at the spot where I start taking out my stickers that I had put aside, whether they were from the kit or that stash that I had put aside just to use with this kit. So I'm going and I'm trying to find anything that is red. I just want to keep up, with that red theme, and then I'm going to bring in a little bit of black too. I thought about bringing in some of that blue, because the blue in the stripes, but there's just too little of it, and I didn't want to bring out any more. So again, I'm just really don't have any idea where any of these are going to go, or even if I'm going to use them. I just take out everything that is red or in the color that I want, and if it's a sticker, I take my EK Success powder tool, and I got mine at Simon Says for $6, $5.99, and I take the stickiness away, so then I don't have to worry about the sticker sticking everywhere. And I keep going through all the embellishments and the brads and the buttons and everything that I want it for this layout. So I know I want to use some of these alphas. I don't even remember who they're from, but they're black with cream. And then I also pulled the Tim Holtz one, which are black and white, but it doesn't really matter because you can't really tell because it's so tiny. And this is where I think by pulling it off and maybe turning it over, I can maybe change the directions of the lines. And I make a mess of that pattern paper. And it doesn't matter which way I flip it over, it won't work. And for me to change the direction, I don't have enough of that pattern paper left. So I'm going to add more ATG, and I'm just going to stick it to exactly where it was, and I'm not going to worry about it. And even though it was all ripped up, it doesn't really show because once it's glued down, you can't really tell. And at one point, and I did take out that embellishment, that metal embellishment that I had gotten from one of my embellishment kits from Freckled Fawn. And also those buttons, the striped black and cream buttons, they were from Freckled Fawn, and I pulled those out too. And so I took out 3 buttons, and I took out 2 of those metal tags, but I really love them and I want to be able to use them again. So I'm going to cut it in 3 to make sure that I can use them again. So on this tag at the bottom of the layout here, I'm going to spell out favorite because it is one of our favorite zoo. And I was going to put it directly on the tag, and then I thought, well, if I have to keep pulling them up and down, I'm going to end up wrecking the stickers. So I just put them on the wax paper, and then I kind of see how big the word is and how much of the tag it's going to take. And then on the other 2 tags, I'm going to put right above the picture of the camel, I'm going to put camel ride, and above or below the other tag that says a day to remember, I'm going to put in July. And then the year, I have it in the big letters, so I'm okay with that. And I'm just cutting out the wax paper and putting it exactly where I want it on the page. I mean, I have a big, huge roll of wax paper, so I don't mind that I cut it in little pieces, and then I just throw it in the garbage. And I love those tiny stickers from Tim Holtz. I get so much usage out of them, and there's tons of pages. I think there's like 9 pages, so it's an awesome little sticker sheet to have. So I'm just looking at some other embellishments that I might want to use, and then I'm going to start gluing everything down. And while I'm doing that, I just want to bring up a couple of things. They did some changes to YouTube lately, and there's this new Google Plus, which I don't fully understand. But ever since they did that, it's really hard for me to answer comments. Like I used to have a section where I could go there and hit reply, and And even though you would comment on a video that was like 20 videos ago, it would be at the top of the list if you just commented. So it was easy to respond to it. But now the comments are, I don't know, I haven't quite figured it out. So anyway, I just want to let you know that I am reading all the comments, and I just want to thank each and every one of you that are leaving comments. It just keeps you going, you know, like you put up a video and then you see someone leaving a comment, and it just, I don't know, it just really is sweet, and I really appreciate it. And you guys leave, you know, such amazing comments, and it's always thoughtful, and so I just want to say thank you. And like I said, I am gonna try and figure it out, that Google Plus, and hopefully I can figure it out soon, and start answering some, you know, more comments and stuff. That was one of the things that I want to make sure that is going to be, I have quite a few, how should I say, goals for December. And one of them was to try and answer more comments on the videos and stuff. So now I'm trying to find a washi tape that I want to put on this layout. And I'm going to change my mind 3 times before I choose the washi tape that I, you know, stick with. So first I take that stripe one that, you know, coordinates with the page really well. It has red, white or cream, and blue, that's the color of the pattern paper. But I don't know, it just kind of gets lost in there, you know, because the other lines are diagonal and these ones are vertical. So I'm going to leave them there for a little bit, and then the more I look at it, the more I don't like it. So I even, you know, glue stuff over top, and then I have to rip everything off and take it apart. And sometimes I end up ripping my pattern paper, but I don't mind. I don't mind that that I do that, because usually by the time you're done, you really can't tell. So now I'm going to rip everything off, and then I'm going to put these little geotags that I just got from Kelly Perky. And I'm going to cut down the tag to size and everything. I think this is where I notice, oh no, I moved that pattern paper over too much. So now I can't right justify it. So then I'm just going to make it so that it's in the center. I just happened to move it just the right place so that it could be in the center of, pretty much in the center of the word. And then I'm going to put the date to the side of the photo, 2010. I'm going to straighten that out. And I'm looking at getting my We Are Memory Keeper poking tool. I'm going to poke the holes for the brads. I'm going to put the brads in each of the cluster. And I'm going to close the brads. And I have one more cluster where I want to put that brad, or one of those brads. And it's right there at the bottom cluster. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to say that if you want to see some still pictures, you can go to 2 Peas in a Bucket and Studio Calico in the members gallery and look for Nicole Jones 911. And you can join me on Facebook. The link is down below. And I'm not the only one that uploads pages there. There's a whole bunch of us, and the inspiration is inspiring. And also in Pinterest, and I have on my not my toolbar, but on my bar with the photo, the link is there, and it's in the About tab for Pinterest. And now I'm adding that metal. I cut it in 3, and I'm adding a little piece of it in each of the clusters. And now I'm going through the sequins that we got in this month's kit. And I'm going to take out the red sequins. And it's so funny because when I was reviewing the kit, and I mean, I was doing the, I got it in July, And I was like, oh, snowflakes and, red and green sequins. And those are the only thing that I've used up to now. So it's funny when, how your perspective changes as, the months go. I just didn't want to think about Christmas. And as I was putting my December daily stuff together, I was like, oh yeah, those little snowflakes, I can pull those in. And so I'm going to go through this package and remove all the snowflakes and put them with my December daily. So I'll be using those, very soon. So I'm just adding a little bit of that quick dry adhesive glue and adding the sequins right in the middle. And by the time it dries, you can't really tell because the glue does dry clear. So now I'm going to just take some twine, and I was trying to figure out of a different way to use it, and then I was like, oh, it's, there's a camel, so I was kind of thinking lasso, for some reason, just, because he was kind of pulling them with, some kind of a cord, or so I just decided to just ball it up and then glue it down for this layout. And again, I'm just going to use my quick dry adhesive from Scotch. And this page came together fairly quickly. And I think it's because, there was some writing on the back, so I was kind of limited of where I could put my photos. And then I did use some of that 6x6 paper and 4x6 paper, so they were already at the size, that I was going to use them. And then I'm going to splatter with Glimmer Glaze and Inky Black from Studio Calico. And I was talking about something else, but I did change that washi tape a third time, and I decided on that black and white camera washi, and I found that it went much better with the layout because it kind of kept with the colors of the layout, because I kind of wanted to keep it the three colors, the black and the red and some white on it. So that's it. Here are a few close-ups of the page, and it's done. So thanks for watching. Bye.